Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Weight of It podcast. Today we are actually taking it back to basics. As you know, this whole podcast was developed with the view of my experiences of trying to lose weight, my experiences with body image and fitness, diet, all that stuff. And as much as we talk about personal growth and other important matters that I think we have discussed on the pod so far, I think today I really wanted to take it back to absolute basics and actually talk about the weight of binge eating, because binge eating is something that I have been battling with for a decade. It's not been cute, it's not been pretty, it's not been something that I've felt confident to talk about with those closest to me, talk less of the internet. But I actually think for the purpose of this podcast and the impact that I've always believed that this platform gives, or at least strives to provide, I think it's so important to actually just dig a little deeper and get into those really uncomfortable conversations and essentially sometimes the most uncomfortable truths. So, binge eating. Let's actually talk about binge eating from a place of definition, what the world says and all the rest of it, and then my personal experience. And maybe in the comments you can also comment your personal experiences as well. If there's anybody who's new here, my name is Rose. You can follow me on platforms at The Real Rose on all platforms. Sorry, that came out weird. But yeah, I'm just a girl who loves health. I love wellness. I specifically have an interest in mental health, and actually looking at the bridge between our mental and physical. Um, for those of us who have been on some sort of fitness journey, because we always know the weight we carry isn't just physical. So, with that being said, let's get into some definitions, because binge eating, binge eating, binge eating. I should have probably had this prepared, but I think we're just trying to keep it real this year. Do you know what I mean? Like, so binge eating. Oh, not funny, but I literally typed binge, and then obviously binge eating disorder came up, clicked it, and it says help is available, which is fantastic. It says text shout to 85258, and it has also categorized particular phone calls for people in England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. They are available 24/7. It's available by text and by call. So I actually think that's really good that that came up when I searched it, as opposed to tips on how to binge eat or something unhealthy like that. And yeah, lots of yeah, better help has come up. Oh, okay, able is in the fitness clothing athleisure brand. They wrote something in 2023 about it, and beating disorders NHS. Anyways, I've lost my train of thought. Um, definition. There we go. So it says binge eating disorder (BED) is a serious mental health condition characterized by uncontrollable episodes of consuming large amounts of food, often accompanied by feelings of shame or guilt. Unlike bulimia, these episodes are not regularly followed by purging, fasting, or excessive exercise. It is the most common eating disorder. So, that is what the internet says, and that has been, yeah, that's from NHS, Mayo Clinic, and a few other organizations. So, like I said, like it said, sorry, binge eating is, to me as well, is also when I'm just consuming food at volume over a specific period of time. Typically evenings, but obviously I don't think it's specific to a daytime, to a time. And the reason I wanted to discuss it today is because I just think I think I'm just fed up. I think it's enough. I think binge eating is something that we almost justify sometimes as women when it comes to things like our periods and so on and so forth, or we've had a bad day, issues in your relationship, stress at work, so on and so forth. There's like a million and one reasons why we justify binge eating, but I think sometimes we just have to say enough is enough. And I also think it's so important that we address the fact that no amount of dieting, squatting, running, walking, meal prepping, PTing, coaching is going to make a difference. I just don't. I'm yet to believe that. I'm yet to believe that. And the reason why, I think we always have to remember, when it comes to your belief systems, the beliefs you hold about your body, the beliefs you hold about the way the world views your body, the thoughts and the emotions that surround that, there truly is no PT, no coach, no meal prep, no meal, no diet, no amount of training, no amount of step counting. Nothing can work until you deal with those root issues. And I think I'm at a point where I have done everything. I have had the coach, I've had the PT, I've had done the meal plans. I've actually also successfully done it. Like, I must say, I've successfully lost the weight and all the rest of it. But even at my thinnest, I still held these beliefs, and I think holding those beliefs is actually what caused me to yo-yo, what caused me to get back onto, like, put weight back on, basically, because essentially I went through a period of binge eating, which then made me put on weight. But it is not like, oh, now I'm thinking these things. I've always thought those things. I think what actually helped me keep the weight off initially is because of the way I viewed my body and because of the way I thought the world would view my body. So I was too scared to put on the weight. And then when I did put on the weight, it was now the battle of like, oh, I'm still this type of person. And now I'm struggling to lose the weight. But either way, there was a struggle to lose, struggle to gain, struggle to do all of this stuff, because at its core, my thought system was faulty. It was broken. It was not rooted in anything positive. I would binge eat to punish myself. I would binge eat to celebrate myself. I would just always be able to justify eating in volume. And I just think, like, when it comes to food, when it comes to binge eating, when it comes to like addictions around food, I just feel like the truth of the matter is, you just feel like a loser. Like, you just feel like a loser because it's like, why can't I just put it down? Like, why can't I just walk into the shop and not eat this thing? Why can't I just, like, if I'm in an environment with loads of people, why can't I just pick one snack instead of holding so many in my hand? Like, you identify and you're so observant of like how other people also relate to food versus how you relate to food, and that also contributes to the cycle of feeling like, oh my gosh, like, why am I such a loser? And I know, it might sound really heavy and quite negative to refer to myself in this way, but I'm actually just trying to paint the picture of what binge eating actually looks like outside of just reading a definition, because I actually think there are lots of people who are paying for services, whether it's PTs, coaches, diet plans, whatever this stuff, whatever those things are, with good intentions. And I even think the people that are making these things are doing it with good intention. I think everybody's trying to help each other. Everybody's trying to reach a particular goal. But I think until we address those underlying thoughts, those underlying beliefs, those underlying emotions, we are just putting plaster on top of plaster on top of plaster on top of plaster. And that's why you can be in a position like I've been, where physically you look amazing, like you look healthy, everyone is like, wow, well done you, but you still hold such negative views and beliefs about your body. You still feel that the world views your body in this particular way. Even when you're quote unquote thin, it's not thin enough. Even when you're snatched, it's not snatched enough. And I think until you get to a point where you are truly whole in how you view yourself, in how you think the world views you, and even how you want to be perceived, I think until all of that is brought to a level of being whole, you are consistently going to find yourself back in a cycle. And the gag is, let me tell you what the gag is in case it wasn't clear. You can go through periods where you're not in that cycle, and then you think you're free from the cycle. But if you have not dealt with the true things that are at the core of all of this, even if you take a break from binge eating, even if you don't binge eat for a year or a couple months or whatever, let a problem find you, let stress locate you, and you will see that you have not really dealt with this thing. And I just think that's what it is. And I'm like I said, I'm not claiming this over anyone. I think I'm really just trying to rip the band-aid. Let's get everything that's been swept under the carpet in front of us, and let's actually deal with the damage, because I think there are so many people that you see say this stuff, and I have these girls, in my DMs. I have people that have messaged me privately over the years about, like, you've fallen off, the struggle of this, the struggle of that, trying to be consistent, trying to da 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 da. And I think so much of it comes down to how we view our bodies. And I think actually just viewing your body as an aesthetic, as opposed to like a body that actually is a key part of your everyday functioning. Like, I remember my therapist once asking me like how I view my body, and I remember just being like, trying to like give her like a measurement and trying to give her like a size or whatever, and she was like, but do you ever just like thank your stomach for digesting food? And I was like, well, who the heck does that? Like, why would I do that? But I understood what she was trying to show me, that I think I have been so negative towards my body for so many years, and just talking to my body as if it's not good enough, like giving off this energy towards my body that you're never what's the word, like you're not chiseled enough, you're not sexy enough, you're not like, I'm giving off this energy, I'm talking to my body in this way, I'm consistently fighting against my body, and then wondering why, when it comes to now trying to change my body for the better, or trying to like take on more healthy approaches towards my body, is there such a resistance? Because I've literally been yelling at my body for so many years that you're this, you're that, you're not skinny enough, you're not toned enough, you're not snatched enough, you're not this enough, you're not. Yeah, if you keep talking to yourself like that, then it's going to be really hard to try and change things, because you've come at your body in such a negative way, as if this is not the same body that sustained me, that has made sure that I've been able to fight off any flu or infection, that has been able to get me from A to B. Like, like when you strip it all apart, yes, I can sit here and complain about cellulite and my legs not being toned enough, or my quads not being prominent enough, but I just thank God my legs work. And I'm just at that point, guys. I am so grateful that my legs work. I'm so grateful that I have legs that literally take me from A to B. I'm so grateful that I don't have any injuries. I'm so grateful, like, there are times where I'll look at my back and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I need to get rid of this back fat, my bra and the bulge and blah, 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 blah. Guys, I'm just so thankful I'm not paralyzed. I'm thankful that I can sit upright, I can walk, I can jump, I can spin around. And, I think sometimes when it comes to being grateful and pouring into our bodies, I think it's actually just stripping away all the aesthetics and what the world says our body is supposed to be, versus what does God say your body is supposed to be, and that is a temple for the Holy Spirit. And I think when you strip all the noise apart, and this is not to say that you cannot still strive to like look good, in my honest opinion, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that so much of my binge eating has come from a place of, oh well, I'm already like this. Literally, this is the language I would use, and I'm just being very transparent here, because I don't want to like water this down, because this is real life. The language I would literally use is, oh, I'm already fat anyway, so I might as well just eat this thing. It makes no difference. I'm already fat, so I might as well get more cookies. Oh, I see a picture of myself. Oh my God, I'm so fat. And then I'll now go and run. And then because you don't run 30 minutes and lose weight, I'll be like, oh God, I'm still so fat, and so on and so forth. And then the cycle just continues. And I'm tired. I'm really tired about it. Really tired. And I think I really know if I close my eyes and quote unquote lock in, I can lose the weight, I can get to a size I want to be. Like that stuff is not really the hard thing for me. I think for me is that I am tired of the beliefs and the thoughts that I carry with me in every single season I'm in. Like that's what I'm tired, and that's what for me needs to come to a complete halt. Like it has to stop. So because I know I have in me to be like, okay, I'm going to do a 30-day step challenge, I'm going to do a 30-day run challenge, I'm going to do a 30-day fast, or I'm going to do a hunger strike, or I'm going to do this, I will just start doing all of these things that will always generate results. I'm not going to lie, like I'm not going to sit here and lie and say like, oh, nothing comes off it. No, it does, because I operate in extremes. But throughout those extreme behaviors, whilst I'm doing it, even once I've got the results, even once I'm feeling like oh my gosh, like my jeans are loose, so I feel good, or like my abs are showing, or whatever it is, whether I'm a size 8, whether I'm a size 6, size 8, or size 12 or 14, I still have these beliefs. And that is why for me right now, enough is enough. And I just really feel like for anyone that's listening that resonates to this, like I also hope it like enough is enough for you as well, because something has to give. I've had to like unfollow a lot of like fitness influencers and I guess fitness TikTokers and stuff like that, just because I feel like I'm tired of the same messaging. Not to say it's bad to tell people like, or show people like how to, meal prep on a busy schedule, or like how to like prepare your meals before like the 9 to 5, or how to grow your glutes, how to build your abs. I think that content, I actually think it's good. I'm not a fan of that content because I find it boring and repetitive, but I think it's good to be educational and informative for those who require it. However, the reason why I had to unfollow a lot of those people is because I felt like no one was actually talking about the things behind all of this. Like, we can all go and do star jumps, we can all go and do some crunches, we can all go and make some brown rice, some salmon and some veg. I personally don't think that is my biggest challenge. I think my biggest challenge is overcoming the mental barriers, overcoming the belief systems, overcoming the thoughts that I hold about my body, the thoughts I hold about my health, about my body image, about what I eat, and so on and so forth. I think that is the biggest battle, and because no one is talking about it, but they're just showing me, I guess, the highlight reels or like the aesthetic of the thing, I just disengage. I just can't really connect with it because it just does nothing for me. It does nothing for me. I don't need to be told another protein powder. I don't need to be told that I need to have 500 grams of protein in every meal. I don't need to be told why I should be having this powder in my cereal. I don't need to be told why matcha is better than coffee. I don't need to be told any of these things. What I need to be told is actually how people are overcoming the limiting beliefs, the self-harming thoughts that they hold towards their body in the pursuit of health and wellness. Now, that is the kind of thing I would subscribe to. That is the kind of person I would follow. And because it's not happening, I'm kind of like, well, I'm bored. And I think that's even maybe why I feel like I'm spending less and less time on social media and more time on Substack. Because I think Substack, people are really they're really letting the chopper spray. I think people are being so genuine and so raw with the realities of things. And I'm not even saying I agree with everything I read on Substack, but I can appreciate someone's point of view, and I can appreciate someone's lived experience. But I think online, on, like, you know, when I think about Instagram and TikTok, I'm really tired of it because I think discipline is a massive barrier to success in whatever area, industry, issue you're going through. Don't get me wrong, but at the root cause of the lack of discipline and self-control is because of the beliefs you hold about yourself. And I say this because now I'm going to give a bit more my story is I've by the time this comes out, I probably would have I'm just either going to be wrapping up, or I would have just wrapped up 40 days of prayer with a few of my friends. And one of the things that came up in prayer for me was around like gluttony and just overindulging, overeating, so on and so forth. And obviously when I was like breaking that down, and obviously it was like, okay, why do I overeat? Like, why is that my quote unquote my vice, right? Although I'm not claiming that anymore, but for the context of this story, I'm going to say my vice. And people have different ones. People have alcohol, people have drugs, people have sex, people have overspending. Some people lie, some people manipulate. So I think as humans, there's always going to be something that you are trying to contend for, trying to fight against in terms of the flesh and the spirit. And I actually think mine is food. I think once upon a time, maybe it was physical intimacy, which I think, praise the Lord, it's something I don't indulge in. I think there was a time maybe alcohol was like a method into madness for me. I don't think I was ever addicted to alcohol, but I think it was literally just a means into madness. Like who I talk to, who I end up giving my number to, who I end up seeing, or yeah, and just like, or maybe it's a means into me being angry, or yeah, even if overindulging in food, like getting a takeaway at the end of the night. I just felt like alcohol was normally the what's the word? It was like the light that would switch on, and then like loads of poor decisions would follow after that. So that's why I stopped drinking. So like I said, it's not really from an addictive point of view, but just more so like, oh, I don't really like who I become or the decisions I make when I drink, and I just would rather not. And then we have food. And what came to me during this 40 days of prayer on this topic around gluttony, overindulgence, binge eating, is that I go to food for comfort. So that means comfort when things are bad, comfort when things are amazing, whatever it is, I go to food for comfort. And obviously, I guess somebody might be listening to this and be like, oh yeah, common sense. that's nothing profound. It's binge eating, it's emotional eating, whatnot. But I think what that then made me unpack is that, like, why is it I don't go to Jesus for comfort? Why is it I require comfort so much? What is it I'm seeking comfort for? What is the void that is empty that I'm trying to fill with food? And I think it's such a, I'm not here to say, by the way, that I've like uncovered everything, but I just think even those kind of like prompts that came to me were really like, oh, like, okay, this is deeper. And I knew it was deeper. Something in me knew that this was not just a matter of, oh, I just have a sweet tooth, or oh, it's Friday night, I just need that. No, I knew something was at work here, something was at play. And I said to myself, no, I must find out what this is. Because I think when you start to really be, when you're filled with the Holy Spirit and you're really in touch with, I keep saying my spirit man, but you know what I mean? Like, you're really in touch in the spirit with the Holy Spirit, I think you just start to recognize things that you do a lot more. So I will recognize, like, when my mood is a bit off and I'm like, why did that trigger me, why did that irritate me, or why did, you just start to ask yourself a lot of questions. And I think there were moments where, like, I was overindulging. I was like, but why did that happen? Like, why? And I'm asking why, which I think is a perfect place to be at and a perfect place to start, but also to be open and receptive to what you hear. So I was asking why am I like desiring this thing? Why is it like I just bought that and I didn't even think about it, so on and so forth. And like the more I've been uncovering this, the more I'm seeing themes around comfort, I'm seeing things around self-soothing. And I guess where the other vices that I said I had that I don't have anymore, like I said, physical intimacy, what was it, alcohol, those were forms of self-soothing or like comfort, or even like the appearance of comfort, shall I say. I guess food is the one thing that has kind of like been able to get away, because also food is the one thing that you can justify, because we need to eat every day. So it's so hidden in my day, like it's not so obvious, it's not so glaringly obvious. Whereas like I'm not somebody that would just have a drink at 1:37 on a Wednesday. Do you get what I mean? Or I'm not somebody that would um just, I don't know, randomly just text a guy this or that. I don't know. They're just, I can't give an explanation of this, but I just feel like the food thing was just a lot sneakier. So yeah, as I've been praying around it, that's something that keeps coming up. And I think also so much of it is the shame element, because like I said at the beginning, sometimes I feel like a loser. Like I feel like, God, seriously, there's like you've got things like Trump, and like you've got things happening in Israel and Iran and all this stuff, and like here I am talking about like, hey God, could you help me not eat this chocolate bar? Like I just feel like sometimes like there's bigger fish to fry. Like this doesn't feel like this is the kind of thing I should be wasting God's time with. But I actually feel like I'm realizing and I'm learning God cares about every single detail. Like, there's the saying that the devil's in the details, which is such a lie, because he literally can't even be in the details of everything, because he can't be everywhere like God. Like he just can't. But I just feel like I'm learning more and more that God is in the details, and I'm just trying to be more mindful of the fact that I can speak to God every single day about this topic and not feel like I have to pray about it the one time and then like, okay, I've prayed, so on and so forth. I actually think this is something I have to talk to God about daily, like every single day. Like, hey God, me again. Okay, so I've got lunch, I've got dinner coming up, I've got this, I've got that. Like, please help me make the right choice. Please help me change my desire. Please help me change the taste that I have for this thing so that I can actually truly overcome it. Because this is actually what fuels the binge eating. This is what fuels the binge eating. I get one taste of it and I go crazy. If we were to do a deep dive of this topic in the context of what it says in the Bible, I feel like this would be like a 5-part discussion, because I just remember someone saying, like, when you really think about the first sin that ever entered the world, it came through food. And like how our bodies are, like our flesh, the one thing that we find so challenging to overcome is things like food, because it's actually just a primal need. It's just something we're supposed to have every day, so we can always justify it. And I just feel like, because I'm mindful of that, and I've done some deep dives in scripture around it, and I still need to do more. I'm aware that this whole sweet tooth, binge eating, it's not small play, like, and I do not take it lightly. And I think that's why sometimes I'm annoyed when I go on social media and everyone's just saying like showcasing like health and fitness is just this Pilates, this matcha, this matching sets, this let's go to a studio and do this. That's all. I think it is so much deeper for those of you that are truly trying to make a change in the way in which you relate to your body and relate to yourself. I think it's so deep. And sometimes I just feel like maybe I'm too deep. Like, I don't know if it's just me. I don't know. But I do think that is something to be discussed. I feel like I might have to make this, like I said, a bit of a mini series because I still haven't got into the topic of sugar, which I'm yet to do because I actually fasted from sugar in January, and I want to share like what I learned from that, but also the fact that I then went back into sugar. Like, I want to talk about that. What else did there was something else I had wanted to discuss about this. Oh, I can't remember. Oh, yeah, this might have to be a second discussion. Don't know if you just heard my stomach rumble there. But bulimia. Bulimia as well. I have struggled with bulimia in the past. Praise the Lord, I haven't done any act of bulimia in maybe six, 7 years. I feel like the last time that I can remember personally is 2019. I don't know if I did it in 2020. I think 2019 might have been the last time I did it. However, I have had thoughts. I have had thoughts, and I have had urges. And once again, from a place of self punishment. And I think once again, this is why I think this topic of like binge eating, disordered eating, bulimia, is such a layered thing because, like I said, the last time I remember doing this, 2019, was the healthiest I looked. It was the year that I'd started running Rose. It was the year that I was showing everyone that I was vegan, I was running and all this, and I was waist training. And whilst all that stuff was true, in the background, there were days where I was forcing myself to be sick, because I felt guilty because I would have something that was off plan, and now I'm like, oh my god, I need to throw this up. And this is why I go back to the point I said before about PTs and coaches, that I think it's so important for the industry that actually gives accreditation to coaches and PTs, for there to be some sort of topic and training around like the mental health aspect of fitness and health and fitness. Because if I did have a PT at the time, which I didn't, but if I did, and like, they would have been approving everything that I was eating because I was eating the right things. But in a moment of weakness, in a couple moments of weakness, should I say, I had something off plan, and instead of just confessing that, I would have just forced myself to throw up for the sake of assuming that the calories will now evaporate from my body, or the sugar content will evaporate from my body. And I remember, guys, it was really bad. Like, I remember I was throwing up at work. Like, that's when I remember being like, oh Rose, you're far gone. And also I worked in an eating disorder unit for like the first like year and a bit post uni, so like I was like 21. And sometimes I wonder if like I was unintentionally influenced because I saw what people were doing to deal with their weight. And whilst I empathized and I felt sorry for the things that people were going through, I'm wondering if actually like those were little seeds of like, oh okay, like, well, although this person is unwell, like technically I'm seeing that if you do this a significant amount of times, you would lose weight. And I know that sounds so like weird to assume and to think like that, but I'm just being completely transparent here. I wouldn't put past myself that those were the things that were my mind was observing and taking in, because I've never had an urge to do that ever in my life until then. And yeah, so I think once again, I think this might need to be like a second part. But I just felt like I just wanted to get this off my chest. I don't know, it's given confession that nobody asked for, but the weight of binge eating is heavy. I think the guilt that comes with it is second to none. Like, truly, there is no, the guilt that you feel from eating more than you needed to in one sitting, it's not one to play with. Like, that guilt and that shame is horrible. It is such a horrible feeling. And then you feel so bad about doing it. You withdraw from like whatever activity, event, friends, family, whatever you're supposed to be doing, you withdraw. And then once again, those beliefs that you hold about your body, the beliefs and the views you hold about yourself and how you think the world sees you, it's just intensified in those moments. It's literally like on volume 100 because you've just done this thing. And then you now punish yourself even further by saying that tomorrow I'm going to not eat this. I'm only going to eat one apple and one raisin, and I'm going to run for 20 hours in the day to lose that weight. And once again, you've gone from one extreme to the next. And then when you do that thing, the next thing, which is only eating one apple and a couple of raisins, you're hungry, and then you feel guilty for being hungry. And you almost then start to act like you are undeserving of having food. Like, you literally feel like you're not worthy of eating again. You're not worthy of being hungry. So even if you are hungry, you've got to affirm that you're not hungry. You don't deserve to be hungry. You don't deserve to stop working out, because what you did yesterday was so terrible that this is what you deserve right now. And then you do that, you feel sick, you're burnt out, you're just naturally like lethargic because of like the extremity that you got to, and then the cycle continues because you're so hungry, because you're so burnt out because of like the amount of physical exercise you've just done. You're gonna eat, then you eat, and because you're actually hungry, you eat more than you need to, and the cycle continues. And then before you know it, it's Christmas. And then it's Christmas, but like I said at the beginning of this episode, it's enough. It's enough. And I think we have to put an end to this. And I think putting an end to this comes with actually uncovering what's been happening, shedding a light on the areas that we want to remain secret, so that this power of shame doesn't have a hold on us anymore. I'm a firm believer of not giving the enemy access into the most shameful parts of your life through secrecy. I think secrecy is one of the enemy's biggest tactics, because when you feel like you can't share this thing, you then feel isolated, you feel lonely, you feel like you're the only one that's going through it, you feel like no one will understand, and then you just stay in that loop, like forever and ever. You're just on that loop. And I think once again, it is enough. Christ has paid the price. He literally paid the price on that cross for me and for you. And when he paid that price, he literally said, like, my sons and my daughters, shame no longer has to visit you anymore. Like, you did what you did, it's happened, but I'm going to carry that for you so you can go off and be free. So you can go off to be free and actually have a healthy relationship with food, have a healthy relationship with how you view your body, have a healthy relationship with how you strive for wellness. None of this has to be under the umbrella of shame and guilt and lack of self-belief and so on and so forth. Like, we are actually called to be free, but the enemy never wants you to think that. And I think food is the one area that no one is discussing at this level. So yes, this was a deep conversation. I even felt like I overshared, but you know what, it was like pressing on me that I needed to talk about it. So I always say this for my 10 listeners, I hope this helped you. And I actually do feel good. I do feel good. And I think, these days I'm just all about just trying to ensure that what I'm putting out is what's real for me, and hopefully help someone else, because I know I actually watch back my videos and I'm like, oh Rose, like that was quite inspiring. Like, I'm literally talking to past me. So yeah, if you did like this video, please do comment and like share if there's any tips, anything that you have noticed, if this is something that you resonate with. And also I just pray that if there is anybody listening that this felt a bit too heavy, this was triggering, if you know anyone that has unfortunately really battled with disordered eating, I just want you to know that you are truly in my prayers. Like, I just know this is such a hard thing, and it almost feels like something that isn't even discussed. It's like, if you know, you know, but then funny enough, so many people are going through it. So yeah, I just want you to know that you truly are loved. Like, you are more than just what your body looks like, and you are more than a dress size. You are more than how those jeans fit you. You are more than what you eat. And don't subscribe to all of this narrative of like, if summer's coming, why are you still this, why are you still that? Like, guys, I promise you there is actually more to life. There is more to life. Half of this stuff is just really not that deep. Like, I promise you, when you're out and about, no one gives a flying monkey. Like, what's important is that you are alive and that your body is functioning in the way it needs to function. Yes, you can still strive to look a particular way in a healthy manner, but I just think, do not be putting yourself in a cycle of negative self-talk or beating yourself up about the way you look, the way something fits you, your appearance, just because the world tells you this is what you're supposed to look like. There's bigger fish to fry, guys. I promise you. I promise you. So yeah, I really pray that you guys are released and set free from any of these limiting views, unhealthy beliefs, systems, suppressed emotions. I truly believe you are set free from that, as I do pray that for myself. And yeah, let's just keep uncovering the weight of binge eating, the weight of disordered eating, the weight of food addictions and sugar addictions. Yeah, let's just keep working at it, one conversation at a time. So thank you guys so much for listening. Please follow the Weight of It podcast across all social media platforms. Follow me at The Real Rose on all platforms as well. And I will catch you guys on the next episode of the Weight of It podcast. Thanks guys for watching. See you later. Bye.